the last State of the Union address Barack Obama. Jump right into the meat of it. You heard me in my opening remarks to our group here today. We're going to talk about the Supreme Court because that's extremely important. It doesn't get enough attention on these debate stages. You all heard what I said about the statistics, the ages of members of the Supreme Court, that the next president could have a huge impact on the appointment process for the court for a generation or more to come. Senator, having worked in the Supreme Court, been a law clerk for Chief Justice William Rehnquist, you have personal first-hand knowledge of how that place works over there. What are questions, what would you want to know from potential nominees to the court before you would even submit their names to the U.S.
Well, you know, Alan, you and I have both spent our lives fighting to defend the Constitution, fighting to defend the Bill of Rights. And we have right now today an activist, out-of-control Supreme Court. It is lawless. Last summer, within a period of 24 hours, they issued 2 decisions. On one day, a handful of unelected judges rewrote the text of Obamacare in order to force that failed law on millions of Americans. 24 hours later, 5 unelected judges purported to tear down the marriage laws of all 50 states, decreeing a right that is found nowhere in the Constitution. Both of those decisions were fundamentally illegitimate. They were lawless, they were wrong, and mark my words, they will not stand. Now, as bad as the current Supreme Court is, Alan is right that the next president, in all likelihood, will be a 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 Supreme Court justices. We are 1 justice away from a radical 5-justice liberal majority, the likes of which this country has never seen. Let me give some examples from the time when I was the Solicitor General of Texas. I spent 5.5 years as the chief lawyer for the state of Texas in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. When I was SG, we defended the 10 Commandments monument that stands on the state capitol grounds. We went all the way to the Supreme Court, and we won 5-4. We are 1 justice away from the Supreme Court ordering 10 Commandments monuments torn down in every courthouse, every state capitol, every public display across this country. 1 justice away is how close we are. When I was Solicitor General, we led 31 states before the Supreme Court in the Heller case, defending the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. We won 5-4. We're 1 justice away. It's something I talked about last night. The position of the 4 dissenters was not that some gun control is sometimes permissible. The position of the dissenters is that the Second Amendment protects no individual right whatsoever, that it is only a, quote, collective right of the militia, which is fancy lawyer talk for a non-existent right. Because what that means, 1 more justice, and the court will hold that not a single human being in this room has any right whatsoever under the Second Amendment, any individual right, which means the federal government or any state could make it a crime, a felony, for any American to own a firearm, and under the Supreme Court's radical interpretation that we're 1 justice away from, the Second Amendment would be written out of the Constitution, and not a single one of us would have any right in the courts to defend us. You know, when I was in private practice, I represented over 3 million veterans defending the Mojave Desert Veterans Memorial, a lone white Latin cross erected to honor the men and women who gave their lives in World War I. The lower court, the Court of Appeals, ordered that taken down. They said you can't gaze on the image of a cross on public land. We went to the Supreme Court. I represented 3 million veterans, and we won 5-4. We are 1 justice away from the Supreme Court concluding that no image of a cross, no religious symbol, no acknowledgement of God can be found in the public square, which will result in veterans memorials being torn down all over this country, and we are inches away from coming in with chisels to remove the stars of David and the crosses on the tombs of our soldiers. That's how radical it is. This is front and center in the next election. And your question was, what question? The most important question I would ask is, will you be faithful? Will you follow the Constitution? And frankly, I don't care what they say. I care what they've done. I care if they've spent a lifetime standing and being faithful to the Constitution, walking the walk, the talk. Anyone can say that sitting in the interview room. We got to look, as the scriptures say, you shall know them by their fruits. We got to look to a proven record. And I give you my word from someone who spent his entire life fighting judicial activism, fighting to defend the Constitution. Every justice I put on the court will be faithful to the Constitution, will not